Well, I saw it in the cinema with my two sons when it came out, and had read very little about it. I knew very little about the setup or, about the creatures or anything, and it absolutely knocked me out. And the thing that I loved about it was that it knocked me out emotionally, because it ticks all the boxes of a horror kind of thriller thing. But for me, the thing was family. It felt to me like actually a film about family. And I remember being in the cinema with my two boys, and they were sort of watching like this, and all the people in the cinema like weren't able to eat their popcorn. It had that incredible effect. It wasn't a passive viewing experience. It was quite the opposite. That's the power of the premise, and I guess the power of the writing, and everything is conveyed perfectly without that much dialogue, with very little dialogue. And it actually, it tends to focus you on the jeopardy, the danger, because they are having to communicate by sign language or by, just by their eyes and all. It was such an original take on it. It was brilliant. After I saw the movie, I was so blown away by it that I gotta write to John Krasinski, and just because I didn't know him or Emily, I'd never worked with either of them before. I was like a fan of their work, but I'd never seen them or met them personally. So I wrote this email just to John to say how much I enjoyed the film and how brilliant it was, and congratulating him on it. And then I chickened out, and I never sent it. I was like, don't do that. You don't need to be doing that. He's a busy man. He doesn't need to hear from some actor. And then like a year or so later, he called me up, and he was like, "Look, we're doing the second one. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Man, I was gonna send you an email." So it was a lovely sort of serendipity, or like, I don't know, simpatico or something, that he was thinking of me for that part. Well, I think because the first movie was so sort of intimate, and it's pretty much like one location for the most part, and it's a very very clever way of setting up a world which which was set up, but we only got to see glimpses of what had happened, sort of outside of their tiny little existence. And I think in this movie he just goes slightly wider, and you can see it slightly. From a wider perspective, what has happened in the world. It's still a very, 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 very small part of what has happened, and I think that is a clever way to approach a story, because you can keep moving back each time and show a bit more, and it poses a lot of questions without answering them, which I think is very clever. I've always loved working with writer-directors, first of all, because exactly, you can go straight to the source of where the story has come from, and that's the case with John. And then you add on to that the fact that he's an actor as well, so he completely understands how actors work. His notes are amazing and concise and to the point. His enthusiasm for the whole process of making a film, because he is involved at so many different levels, is infectious. So you're on set, and you just feel you have this. He's got this incredible childlike excitement and enthusiasm about the process of making films, and yeah, that's catching. People who liked the first movie, and millions of people did, is the fact of just going like, okay, now we're giving you a glimpse at a bit more of this world, and you see see how it affected more people just outside of this sort of nuclear family, and we're just pulling back a little bit. And I think that's very very exciting to glimpse, because again you start putting yourself into their shoes. So I think that's what will be most exciting, and it still has all the sort of thrills and spills and scares that the first one had.